During the course of the investigation, the Commission has received, on a continuing basis, a massive amount of documentation. Each receipt of documentation has provided further leads for the Commission to review and to follow up, and we expect the report to be released early in the new year.
The wait is almost over. Maybe. The RCMP Civilian Review and Complaints Commission says the investigation into the gun grab in High River, it's nearly done. Results should be released in the coming months. Now, this update comes after multiple delays into the report. Residents are still demanding answers as to why the Mounties confiscated guns from homes abandoned due to flooding, why doors were kicked in. John Barlow is the MP for the High River area, joins me now in Ottawa. You heard Mr. McPhail there. This was originally supposed to be October 2013. I'm guessing some people just want to move on, but others are saying, why is it taking so long?
Yeah, it's definitely two areas, Brian. We need to bring some closure to this. People want to know some answers to some questions that are still lingering out there. And a lot of people just want to move on. We want to, move on with the rebuilding and reconstruction of High River, and it's difficult to do that while these issues are still sort of hovering over that community right now.
Yeah, but without figuring out what happened, this could lead, if there is wrongdoing on the part of the RCMP, and I think that ourselves and researchers like Dennis Young have found sufficient evidence that something happened that shouldn't have. This leaves other communities vulnerable if the RCMP doesn't have rules in place or a review. So it has to be done.
Absolutely, and even though my riding's McLeod, which includes High River, I've had emails and phone calls from Canadians across the country. And so this isn't just an issue that affects High River. Obviously, that was the focal point, but the concern from residents across the country is, could this happen in my community as well? And that's something we need to address.
I know during the nomination race you took a different viewpoint on this, but now you're in Parliament. You have taken up the fight that Scott Reid started with order paper questions, and those are MPs can place any question down and the government must respond. You've got a long list. I mean, let me just show people. These are all questions. See that tiny type? Those are all questions, detailed. So I just want to go over two of them right now and ask you why you're looking for this. So from the order paper question, what are the definitions of illegally stored firearms, carelessly stored firearms, and unsafe storage as accepted and enforced by the RCMP? And then there's this one. Are there any circumstances under which these definitions are expanded or altered in such a way that it impacts the extent to which the RCMP can enforce them? Is there something specific you're looking for there? Because is this because of the conflicting reports of the Mountie saying, we only took this, and residents saying, no, I followed the law?
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity for me to try and address the rumor mill that's out there. And that's really what makes this so difficult, is nobody knows what the truth is right now. And that's why I'm so eager to get this report out sooner rather than later so that we can address these questions. And those order paper questions there's so many conflicting reports out there that my firearms were safely stored, they were in a locker, the triggers were locked, some triggers were removed, and yet these firearms were still taken. So I want to make sure, or have answers to these questions. What is your definition in black and white of a safely stored firearm? And if that's that definition, then why were these firearms taken?
The door kickings in, that affected even more homes, more families, and it's taken some people a long time to get compensation. It took some people a long time just to get their door back on. Is that an issue that you hear about still? People are concerned, like, why'd they kick it in? Why didn't they just break the little glass and undo the lock?
Mm-hmm. And that's probably the biggest battle of this, Brian, is that perception that RCMP were going around High River kicking down doors, and that really gave residents an uneasy feeling of not being safe in your community, where the RCMP there, we've always trusted them for generations to protect our communities. And the RCMP detachment in High River, which had nothing to do with any of this, is really having a difficult time repairing that relationship with the residents of High River because of all these things that went on. And just to, although there were locks kicked in, I've spoken with many locksmiths who were there and helped pick hundreds of locks. But unfortunately, there was more than 1,000 that were kicked in as well, and that's that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's shocking, I think, to most Canadians, because as you say, you trust the police, whether it's the RCMP or your local police force. And that trust, once it's broken, it does take a while to repair.
Absolutely, and that's so important that we have this this review completed. And I know that now they said early in January. I hope they stick to that deadline because we cannot start this healing process in High River and, like I said, across the country until these questions are answered.
All right, John Barlow, MP for McLeod, thank you so much. Well.